The deadline is fast approaching for police departments across New York State to redesign themselves or lose state funding. Governor Cuomo's executive order gives the police until April 1st. Now, the people advising the NYPD on its effort to include a commission of community leaders listening to people across all 5 boroughs. CBS 2's Maurice Dubois spoke to 2 of the members.
We can't allow Black and brown persons to be racialized when it comes to policing, to be marginalized in any aspect or respect.
Jennifer Jones Austin is CEO and executive director of the Federation of Protestant Welfare Agencies, an anti-poverty group. Arva Rice is president and CEO of the New York Urban League. Their mission to fulfill the governor's mandate for reform.
That all police departments around the state do this. Do you feel like it's sincere?
We do know that in the conversations that we've had with the mayor's office, the conversations that we've had with the police department, that they recognize that this moment will not pass without change. And so whether their efforts are fully sincere or not, the community is demanding it.
We're here to say, you know what, don't shy away. If ever there was a moment, if ever the nation is paying attention, it is now. This is the time for you to stand up, have your voice be heard, have your concerns be addressed. We're hearing a lot about the lack of accountability, the lack of transparency, the lack of discipline. We're hearing officers talk about how they're feeling in this moment, how they are at times feeling like they're not prepared for this moment, that, you know, sometimes they're called out to address issues concerning persons with mental health challenges, or they're called out to police homelessness. And they feel very strongly that they're not equipped to handle those matters and that they're not criminal in nature. But yet when things go wrong in those circumstances, they're being blamed.
The Civilian Complaint Review Board, the CCRB, the major complaint about the CCRB is that it has no teeth, right? How do you make that accountability actually real? How do you make that happen?
It's one of the things that always comes to mind when we talk about accountability. What are the ways in which we can provide greater accountability, make the CCRB have more powers?
We're hearing from advocates in the community say there should be no discretion there. You know, if the CCRB, an independent body, makes a recommendation and has done the investigative work to back it up, then that it should have more teeth. The preferred word, in my opinion, not defund the police, because, you know, we know that that just sets up all bells and whistles and has people saying, oh, you know, like they don't want any policing, you know, you can't be with them. Budget justice, you know, disinvest, reinvest in communities.
There are things that police officers are asked to do that across the country that they're saying, should this really be part of their portfolio? So we think that defunding the police means that the police don't need to be involved in every single aspect of things. But the fact is that who do you call at 3 o'clock in the morning? Who do you call it at 5 o'clock in the morning when you're having some type of issue? And we think that there should be alternative places to call that do not lead to escalation, violence, and killing of our people. We have had conversations directly with police officers. There are some morale issues within the department. There are some ways in which people are feeling like their police officers are not being appreciated. Some of the protests led into some direct conflicts with police officers that were difficult for them to absorb and to manage, which goes back to their training and how they're supported back in their police departments.
There is one reality, right? Bail reform. The commissioner says, look, shootings are at a 14-year high. He directly blames bail reform, says people are right back on the streets just days later after they've been arrested. What do you say to that?
Bail reform is about making sure that people, frankly, people with low income or no income are not put behind bars when they can safely be at home or elsewhere. I think that it has been convenient here in New York City and across the state for people who are not in support to blame bail reform. But the numbers haven't shown that that's the correlation, the reason for the tick up in crime.
Should the war on drugs pretty much come to an end and remove police from the drug policing business?
This nation has found a way to criminalize Black people at every turn, to keep us out of the workforce, to keep us from getting ahead, to keep us from voting. It is no different today. You know, now we're seeing with the opioid epidemic, we've now got a health crisis, a public health crisis. And why is that? Because it is white people disproportionately who are affected by the opioid crisis.
The only war that we should be involved and engaged in right now is a war on systemic racism. And we need to be galvanizing every troop. This is not about somebody not working harder than another person. This is not about somebody taking advantage of the opportunity that's been given to them. But we live in a system that has been designed and built for one group to benefit over another.
Guns are still all over this city. And the cops will tell you that they need help in getting those guns off the street. But how do you attack that aspect of this?
I think one of our greatest challenges in policing today is, just to put it out there, the fear that some of these police officers have that they're not going to get home at night. And so, if they know that there are guns that are out there, I'm not saying that this is the reason for every case concerning Black persons who have been harmed by the police. I'm not suggesting that at all. But I do think that we are operating in this space where there are police officers who are fearing for their lives every day when they show up to work.
When this process is over on April 1st, what's it going to look like? What is police reform according to this commission and according to the NYPD? What's it going to look like? What are people going to be able to take away from this?
Policing that is fair, that's safe, that's accountable, and that's just for everybody, not just white, affluent people, but Black and brown people, immigrant people, people in the LGBT community, that everybody, as they walk the streets of New York City, can feel like they're being treated fairly and responsibly by the police.
I think that on April 1st, as we have been told by many of our advocates, is the beginning of the process. As long as we have policing, as long as we have poverty, as long as we have structural racism, we know that we're going to have to continue to do this work.